So let's consider yourself. Think about yourself for a moment, not your volunteers you're working with, but yourself. When you volunteer somewhere, what motivates you? What makes you or prompts you to get involved? Let's spend a minute and just think about that. And we're going to all weigh in too. So I know for me, it's social connections. I love the purpose, making a difference, but I really enjoy the social connections too. What about you, Carrie?
Well, I started off with because I want to do something positive. But then I thought more to it. There's more to it. There's kind of that sense of belonging and that I might have something worthwhile to contribute. And so I was so glad Cathay provided plenty of space in the handout to be able to really reflect and think about it and not just kind of that automatic answer. Because it's kind of layered for me.
It is, isn't it? I know my first thought when I volunteered was, well, that looks like fun. I'd like to learn how to do that. And I think it's that aspect of learning something new that drew me. And that's what's kept me in it these 40 some years, because I'm still learning and getting a chance to try out things that otherwise maybe I wouldn't get an opportunity to experience it.
Absolutely. Being a witness to the change and the positive movement is something you want more of, huh?
So here we you all surveyed your learners and had them write about what motivated them, or not your learners, well, your volunteer tutors as learners. And they wrote some things we have up on the screen. I think that's some great, interesting ones here. Again, some things that we've mentioned, like, for the good. I like the one, and we both gain, because you may go in with one idea, but as you're experiencing that relationship with your learner and the tutoring, you start to realize you're getting as much out of it as you're giving and as the other person is.
I love when volunteers discover that.
That's the best part to see, isn't it?
And I also appreciated the volunteer who said she did it for her own mental health. I appreciated her honesty about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does help us with that. Yeah, that's a great motivator. In fact, if it's not fun, if we're not enjoying it, we're not going to stay around very long. So this is really a part of volunteer retention.
Absolutely. I often share that with our tutors, that it needs to be fun for them to want to come back, and also the learner too, right? We want everyone to return.
Yeah. So I think that's cool. Everyone has their own motivation. There's some overlap, but also every person's very unique and it's different reasons for coming in.
It's fascinating. So I'm wondering if any of the folks that are listening to this course see themselves in these motivations.
And here we'll put it where you can read it a little more easily, some of these motivations.
Yeah. So do you see yourself in any of these motivations? Again, why do you, and I emphasize you, volunteer when you do? Review the list on page 3 in your workbook. Take a look. It's a comprehensive list that I just love. There's so many reasons why. It's simple as a smile to donuts that are offered at the, when you show up. So take a moment to reflect on your own reason for what motivates you to volunteer, and on your own life. And then answer the question at the bottom of the page. What motivates you to want to be a volunteer? Be aware at this point, we're talking about you. And I know I keep on repeating that, but we always tend to move to our volunteers that we're working with. So think about yourself for a moment. And the next part, we'll get to lots of recognition ideas. So hold tight, we'll get there. But for now, reflect on yourself and consider how your motivation influences you and how you want to be recognized. You may want to pause the course at this moment to answer that question and just take a minute and really reflect.
Okay, I hope you paused it and had some good thoughts going there. And now as you come back, let's see what we've got here. Okay, I'm going to ask you to take a moment and do a little visualization activity. Close your eyes, if you would please, and picture yourself being thanked for some great volunteer activity that you really enjoy. Picture yourself being acknowledged and thanked for that. What does it look like? Set the scene in your mind's eye. It's like, where are you? What's going on? Are you outside somewhere in nature or in some meeting outside? Are you inside a building? And who's with you? Are you with one or two people? Are you with a group? Picture that. And then picture what's happening. What do you hear? What are they saying to you? And maybe you're sitting alone, quietly opening a personal card of thanks and appreciation? Or are you being carried on a float in a parade with all the pots and pans banging, proclaiming how wonderful you are and what you've done for the community? What is it? What really resonates with you? So take a moment, picture it, feel it, and consider what makes you feel valued for your contributions. Okay, well, welcome back. I hope you got a clear picture in your mind of what does recognition look like to you. So I ask you to go ahead and pause the video again and record your answer on page 4 in the workbook. You'll see a place to write what you've experienced, or you can draw a picture if you prefer, but just something so you can keep that in mind. And you come back, we'll go on. Okay, so what we're looking at is, want to move now to understanding one size does not fit all in volunteer recognition. So you consider how you felt in that scene that was special to you. Maybe you felt valued and appreciated, warm and fuzzy. Someone else might feel embarrassed and wanting to hide, frustrated or uncomfortable. So we can't assume everyone accepts and perceives appreciation and those expressions the same way that we do. People are different. And just as you have your own motivations for volunteering, so do each of your volunteers. So what we want to talk about now is to challenge you to think about your volunteers and how you might be able to match some of their motivations with the recognition that you give. And we also talked about some volunteers who want to use their skills and talents, that they don't want them to get rusty. They want to keep active and using them, or maybe they want to learn something new, which I shared was one of my motivations for originally volunteering. So you can give them opportunities to learn something new. You can maybe give them a chance to be a mentor tutor to help others. You can maybe offer direction on career pathways, or just find what can you do. Sometimes I think sometimes we're afraid to ask volunteers to take on other responsibilities. We don't want to overwhelm them, but sometimes that's just exactly what they want, that opportunity to learn and grow. So keep that in mind too. That's a good recognition of someone's talents and their giving.
So one more thing to remember is it's not only about motivation, but it's about personality too. So bottom line, one size does not fit all, but it's also likely that you'll you'll be able to know, and you won't be able to know maybe, or you will sometimes, every individual's reason for volunteering. But bringing awareness around this idea of recognition and matching it to motivation and a little bit to personality is important as we figure out multiple ways to recognize the contributions our volunteers are making.
So we've covered quite a bit there, and we have an assignment for you. We'll ask that you discuss motivations with your colleagues. Now, if you pull together a team that you're reviewing this together, it's a good time to stop and share any ahas that you have. Ask any questions of each other so you can continue that learning in a group. If you're working alone, go ahead and take a moment to poll your colleagues. Go around your library and ask your coworkers about meaningful volunteer experiences they've had, and ask why they were motivated to volunteer, and ask what type of recognition they like, or any experience they've had that's really made them feel appreciated. And in your handouts on page 4, there's a place for you to make notes of what your colleagues tell you and share it with you. It's something you can go back to and kind of reflect on more later as we go along.
So in closing of part 2, keep in mind that our volunteers are in it for their own reasons, which may not match yours. That's something I've had to recognize, and I always have to remind myself. Be observant and watchful and listen, just like we talk about how they are with their adult learners, respectful, and always ready to learn how you might be able to do something meaningful to recognize them, as simple as a smile or a hello, again, depending on their motivation and their personality. In the next part, we'll look at some more ways to say thanks and to recognize volunteers.